I think also if you took engineers from other fields and you showed them the amount of space that the average nuclear power plant requires, which is about around 830 acres, given its capacity factor and energy output, it's the smallest land use footprint of any carbon-free energy source.
Yeah, it's a huge strength of nuclear, and we're trying to get even smaller, which is pretty amazing to think about.
What would you like the public to know about nuclear energy?
How much time do you have? Because there's a lot of misconceptions about nuclear out there. I think my number one is just I would love the public to understand how important nuclear will be in terms of decarbonizing our energy grid to the maximum extent. It's baseload generation, which is not something that a lot of renewables can claim. It's baseload generation that can be anywhere. The other carbon-free baseload generators are hydroelectric and geothermal, which you need specific conditions to make that happen. Whereas nuclear can be anywhere, and it's carbon-free, and it will be the backbone of your grid. So that's like the number one thing I would love the public to just think about. Nuclear is green, and it needs to be a part of our green future. The number one misconception that I would love to clear up is about nuclear waste. A lot of people in the public think that nuclear waste is like a big problem that we haven't solved. To me, as a nuclear engineer, nuclear waste and used nuclear fuel is not a technical issue. It's a policy issue, actually. I mean, we have many strategies that we can use to manage the nuclear fuel that we've used in power generation, but we just need to commit to a policy solution to kind of get the ball rolling as far as, it needs money, right? And so whether that strategy is geological repositories, which is burying fuel deep in geological formations that basically won't leach anything out into the world, whether that's reprocessing, which is taking used nuclear fuel and actually extracting materials from it that are still usable in nuclear energy, and just basically isolating the radioactive waste that we can't use into a much smaller form if we can extract that from a large volume. Both of those are viable ways to basically mitigate nuclear waste as much as we can, and we know how to do them. It's just a matter of committing the resources to do that. I would also say what we are doing right now with nuclear waste is sustainable for a very long time. So right now, when nuclear fuel is used in a reactor, when it is no longer efficient to use in the reactor, it's taken out, and it still generates a lot of heat and radiation, and so it's kept in a spent fuel pool or a used fuel pool at a nuclear reactor facility where it cools off for about 10 years, and then it's placed into these very, very large concrete casks that are extremely resilient, and they're kept at nuclear reactor facilities on site. I have not heard of a nuclear power facility that is running out of room in their spent fuel facilities. They've got plenty of room in their pools, and they've got plenty of room, in whatever area they're keeping all of their spent fuel casks. So yeah, it's definitely, it would be nice to have a policy solution to nuclear waste, but nuclear waste, as we are currently experiencing with the level of nuclear power fleet that we have, it's not something that, a plant is going to run into not having room for the used nuclear fuel that it has. And I think that goes back to kind of how we in the industry have over-engineered everything. It's like, designed these facilities that contain used nuclear fuel to be, twice as big as we need them to be, right?